Hi guys, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my top baby hacks, things I've learned over the past 6 months and which should hopefully help any new mums out there as well. If you're new here, my name is Barbie and I film videos on all sorts from motherhood to money saving, and I'd love for you to subscribe down below and join me. Also, please make sure you hit the like button, it really helps out my channel. And yeah, let's get into the hacks. So when I first had my baby boy, one thing which took me by surprise was just how long I spent feeding him. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the space to buy a big beautiful nursing chair and I was getting a lot of back pain sitting myself up on pillows, so we purchased one of these reading pillows from Amazon. It's brilliant, it can go on your bed or on the sofa and it gives you some really lovely back support and arm support and just makes those long feeding sessions so much easier, whether you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding. Something which I thought I would be packing away after I had Kian but is still hanging around in my flat 6 months later is our birthing ball. I know you thought those hours of bouncing on the birthing ball were over, but your baby got so used to that bouncing, it is the best thing to settle them if they're fussy or if they're upset. In those early days when Kian was inconsolable, we used to just bounce him away on the bouncy ball and he'd settle right down. It's also a great thing to use for tummy time. You just need to put down a muslin cloth and make sure you're holding them, but they'll really enjoy having tummy time on the bouncy ball where they're a little bit high up, they can look around and it's not so hard on their little bellies. In those early days, sometimes your baby just doesn't want to be put down and it can be really hard having to hold them all the time, but we found that putting a hot water bottle in their crib just a few minutes before we put them down really helped. You just want it to mimic your body heat and it will trick the baby into thinking they're still being held. This one worked really well for us. Another way we could get Kian down was to put him down in the same position that we were holding him. So if he happened to be on his side, I would put him down on his side to have minimal disturbance, and then after a few minutes I would slowly turn him onto his back and he would be fast asleep, none the wiser, and we could go and get a few bits done. Our baby absolutely loves playing with bubbles. He loves to look at them and watch them, and now he's starting to reach out for them and it's so cute, but I hate having soapy liquid all over my carpets and wooden floor, so we found the best time to play with bubbles was during bath time so that all of the soapy liquid will fall in the bath and it's just a nice sensory experience for him in the evening. If you're a mummy who's pumping breast milk, it can be really hard, especially when you're having multiple pumping sessions throughout the day. It's also so annoying having to wash your pump parts after every use, but did you know that milk which has been pumped within 24 hours can all be stored together in the fridge, which means that you don't necessarily have to wash your parts every single time. You can put them all into a container or into a bag and store it in the fridge until you next want to pump. I used to do this all the time and I found it so much easier. I had Kian in the middle of summer and I was breastfeeding him through a heat wave, which was not fun at all. Our bodies would literally be stuck together, but one of the best tips I was told was to put a big muslin into the freezer so that it got nice and cold, and then when it's time to pump, just pop that muslin between you and the baby and you'll have a nice cold surface, and instead of being hot and sweaty, it will hopefully cool you both down and you won't be all sticky and stuck together. Another amazing hack for those first few weeks of breastfeeding where you're really sore, maybe cracked and bleeding, the best thing to heal a cracked nipple is breast milk. It's actually full of really lovely healing properties. You just want to squeeze a bit out, put it all over your nipple and let it air dry. Then once it's dry, you can put a bit of nipple cream and it should heal within a day or two. Unless you're very lucky, you're most likely going to encounter some poo explosions and maybe some pee leakages. If these are happening frequently, the best thing to do is probably to size up in your nappies. If you're using Aldi nappies like we were, once you hit size 3, these are notorious for poo and pee leaks, so you might need to size up or even try a different brand of nappies. If you're using barrier cream on your baby, you'll quickly realize that that stuff is like cement. It's so hard to get off your hands and the tubes are so difficult to close. I don't know who invented them. We found the best thing to do was to decant some into a little tub. I like to use just an old eye cream tub, and then I'll use a cotton pad to take a bit out and then apply the nappy cream. Then you can just fold up the cotton pad and throw it away or reuse it a couple of times on different edges, and yeah, that's what I do. It makes things so much easier and less messy. If you do have a really bad poo explosion, it's all on the vest. I mean, sometimes you can't even save the vest and it just needs to go in the bin. But if you can save the vest and the baby grow, you need to wash it straight away. Don't let it sit, don't leave it anywhere to do later. Wash it straight away and you'll get the stain out really easily. The longer you leave it, the more it's going to absorb into the material and the harder it is to get out. And if after washing you still can't get the stain out, just leave them out on a windowsill or outside in the sunshine, and the sun somehow bleaches the the material, and yeah, it will be white again. When you leave the hospital, the midwives will ask you to record all of your baby's dirty nappies, wet nappies, sleep times, all sorts of things, and I found the best way to record all of this information was using the Huckleberry app. Out of all of the baby apps, this is the one that you need. When I was breastfeeding, I would record how long I fed him for and which side. I'd also record all of his sleep times, and it just made things so much easier. Now I use it to predict his nap times. It's got this amazing feature called Sweet Spot, which is actual wizardry. I don't know how they do it, but they calculate the wake times of each baby, and it will be able to tell you when your baby will start to get tired and when you should think about putting them down for a nap. And I kid you not, it is so accurate. Every time it approaches Kian's nap time on the app, he'll start to rub his eyes, and I can tell that he's getting tired. So if you're someone who likes routine and likes to feel a little bit more in control of the day and how it goes, then I would definitely recommend downloading the Huckleberry app. If you're formula feeding your baby, it's really important to make sure each scoop of formula is level. Now, I didn't know this until someone actually commented it on one of my YouTube videos, but there's actually an inbuilt leveler in the box of formula. I should have known this because it's in the instructions, but you can actually scoop and then level off your formula just using the packaging. Something which I learned real quick is that you need to have baby wipes everywhere. Wipes in the kitchen, wipes at the changing station, wipes by the playmat. I also think it's so important to keep wipes in your car, and one of the biggest tips I have is to keep wipes in the side of your baby bag, so that if you're out and about and your baby does a massive sick. Kian had really bad reflux at one point, so we were always mopping him up. And it was so handy having the wipes up the side of the bag so I could just quickly pop them out and clean him up. If you're a mum-to-be and you haven't yet bought a baby bath, I would highly recommend getting one with a bath stand. In the early months, it's really important to hold your baby when they're in the bath. You really can't let go of them, and if you're having to bend over into the bathtub and do this, it can be really hard on your back. We just found having a bath stand made it so much more comfortable for everyone and less stressful. So I'd seen a few mums on Instagram had been entertaining their baby with this, and I just had to buy one, and it is a foil blanket which you usually find in ambulances. I tell you what, this thing is amazing. It cost me less than £2. He'll happily sit there scrunching away at it. He loves to kick it. We sometimes place it over his playmat to make a little sensory cave, so I would highly recommend getting yourself a foil blanket if you don't have one for your baby. Oh, I'm also going to link down below an amazing lullaby if you need something to soothe your baby quickly in the car, or if you're trying to get them to sleep at home. This lullaby is amazing, and I also found it wasn't as annoying as some other lullabies can be, so I'm going to link that down below. It's got like a bajillion views on YouTube, so it obviously works really well at settling babies. When your lovely, happy, content baby starts teething, it can be quite a shock, and you will do anything you can to help them. A really good tip for teething is to keep your teething gel in the fridge so that it's nice and cool on their gums when you apply it. I also like to run my hands under really cold water so that even when I'm applying it, it's nice and soothing for him, and I'll just let him kind of chew away on my finger for a little bit, and he seems to love it. And lastly, something I really struggled with when I was out and about was the size of our basket in our pram. In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have bought that pram, but I found these really cheap pram clips on Amazon, and they work so well, and they can actually take quite a lot of weight. I also use a buggy bag to keep a few bits in as well, and it just frees up space down in the basket below. Obviously, you want to be careful that you're not piling on too much weight when the baby's in there. You don't want your pram to topple over, but obviously as a mum, you always need an extra pair of hands, and hopefully it will make things a little bit easier. So those are a few of my baby hacks. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you've tried any of them down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful. It really helps out my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.